Welcome back to the Mayorverse, everybody. Mayor Reynolds, aka Midnight Mayor here, and today we are talking about the new map, well, one of two new maps actually, technically, in DEADROP Snapshot VII. This is Proving Ground 3, known as Runway, and you may or may not know that this is actually planned to be a future sector in DEADROP. If you don't know the difference between Proving Grounds and sectors, a sector is basically a finalized version of a map, an area of the tower in the DEADROP, both the game and the lore, the existence. A proving ground is basically, think of it as a testing version of a map that's being designed by Midnight Society that's not arted yet. It's usually in blockout stage, but in the lore, these are different areas that are built by claws outside of the tower to test themselves, to do combat on, to get ready for actually entering and raiding the tower. So let's get right into it. We've got a guide here, and I'm going to talk about some things that are already in this Proving Ground 3, which is likely to be Sector 4, by the way, and I'll show you that in a second if the concept art proves true and all that stuff. There's lots to talk about here, so let's just get going. All right, so this is gameplay from Proving Ground 3 from my stream last night on Twitch, twitch.tv/MayorReynolds, and I'm going to get into the individual areas of this map, show you where the lifelink stations are, where there are extractions right now. But the first thing that you should know is if you want to play Proving Ground 3, it is not in the main game yet, the Vertical Extraction Shooter, or VES. Right now, Proving Ground 3 is only in the DCM modes and not all of them. Proving Ground 3 is in My Infection mode. Check out the video on that, by the way. As you can see, the map is also very large and vertical as other DEADROP maps are. It is in Team Deathmatch in its current state, and it is in a few others as well. So if you want to play it, go try some of these modes and you'll experience Gun Game as well, or Arsenal. Sorry, OMA, Arsenal. You'll experience this map, be able to test it, get your thoughts. And if you build your own DCM using the DCM Creator tool, which is going to be updated soon, by the way, and get Lua scripting, you will also be able to put whatever mode you want on Proving Ground 3 if you want to create your own mode on Proving Ground 3. Now let's talk about the whole Sector 4 thing. So one of the biggest features of Proving Ground 3, obviously it's a very long runway for a plane, and there's literally a giant plane or jet on the middle of it, which you can go in and out of, and we're going to show you all the footage of that, what it looks like right now. It's very, very, very detailed. We're going to cover all those areas. But anyway, here is some of the early concept art of Sector 4 from the original DEADROP ARG before the reveal of the game. As you can see, here's a large runway. Here's a plane, a bit smaller in scale than the plane that we have. But the concept is here, right? And there's looks to be bases on either side. The end of the runway here. The basic concept in this art is here. And then if you look here, also Sector 4, there's maybe a reference to a skyhook form of extraction. So maybe a plane comes by or a plane leaves. This is obviously a hangar of some kind, and this could be a form of extraction. Skyhook, totally speculative, but you don't know. Now, what might not be obvious and could change, remember, all this is subject to change, guys. This is a very active development process. Some of this concept art goes back a year or two. Also in Sector 4, at least in the ARG, which again can be changed, was various laboratory areas. And a lot of us I know in the community who pay attention to this stuff have been very intrigued by this whole lab concept and aesthetic. In the version of Proving Ground 3 that we have right now, at least, there's nothing that resembles a lab at all, which could indicate several things. Either the lab is still to come, it's going to be added on to Proving Ground 3, if this is indeed Sector 4. Either the lab has been cut and is no longer in Sector 4, either it's been cut and it's been moved to a different sector. There's a variety of options here, but originally, I'm just pointing out here, there was this Sector 4 research lab concept being thrown around, and I really liked this idea for a sector in general. Maybe even a standalone sector or a subsector or something like that, because this looks in general a lot closer quarters and tighter than your traditional DEADROP sector so far, at least, which are very big, expansive, wide open. And I think queuing into a sector like this, a lab environment, could really offer a lot of different style gameplay, maybe even like stealth and moving in and out of cover. Obviously there's areas like that in the existing DEADROP sectors, but if you want something that's kind of going to feel different, You know, maybe you just want to run an SMG and a shotgun, for example. Queuing into a sector like this lab concept art could be very fun. Now let's get back to the actual Proving Ground 3 that we have and pointing everything out to you, teaching you the ropes there. So here's your main look at probably the giant main section of Proving Ground 3. Of course, you're on the runway. That's the majority of this map, and there's this giant jet or plane right here. You can get everywhere on this thing from the interior in multiple levels. There are seats just like an actual plane. There is a cockpit. You can get out on the wings. You can get on the top of this thing. There are ladders up and down. There's a ramp that extends out the back. Of course, there's loot all throughout the plane. There's windows along many sides of this, or many sides. I guess there's only 2 sides to a plane. But as you can see, it looks like the cockpit of a plane. But you can run all the way to the back, up and down these ladders, get loot all throughout this thing, go through the seats. There's a ramp out the back. And then if you look, there's doors on the side that I just passed. Again, loot everywhere, and windows. They are not the easiest to get out of, but you can actually wiggle your way out of them if you are careful. And in a moment, you will see the exit ramp here, which opens back down the other side of the runway. The area that you're looking at here is called Terminal, and as you can tell, it very much looks like a TSA check-in in an airport or the customer service area. You will find an extraction back here. By the way, as of now, extractions are not a thing on Proving Ground 3. Clearly they will be down the road, but right now, because its map's only in DCMs, extractions are not enabled. There's the actual like metal detectors here. There's like, you know, where you would see different lights, I guess, up there. I said you should turn those into like an active scoreboard for the match or something. But anyway, this leads upward into an area high above the plane where you will oversee basically the whole map here. There's zip lines that you can jump on. You can jump down onto the plane if you want to, you know, risk your life, but grab a zip line, because if you jump all the way, you're probably gonna die, or at least take a lot of damage. But you can see basically the whole map from here, and this is one side of the map. The other side is not the same. It's asymmetrical. There are bases over there. I call them catwalks. You can see them from here. I will show you guys that. There's also basically underneath this runway. We'll get into that, but you can fall to your death off either side of the runway if you're not careful. This thing's clearly very high up. Again, part of the tower hypothetically eventually. So clearly it's very high up. But this whole area very complex up here, connected to checkout there. Just here's a quick clip of getting on top of the plane. Again, you can reach this through a variety of methods. You can get inside the plane, run out and clamber up, run out onto the wings, or you can jump off of a zip line to get up here. You can actually run all the way up that tail fin there if you want to. Of course, there's no cover, but you can get all the way up there. Jump down on this backside. There's the engine and the ramp right below it from inside. And, you know, there's not a lot of cover up here, like I said, but you can get up there, use the high ground. I just killed Tuck, one of the animators at 12 a.m. right there, by the way. But just you know, pointing out, you can get on the plane and rain fire down on those below you. So on either side of the plane and on opposite ends, there are currently lifelink stations. Again, they're very out in the open, so you know, they're not without risk, I guess I should say. But there's also an underbelly to this, I almost called it plane, this Proving Ground, this map, which is quite complex with a variety of catwalks. And if you want to get across the map or rotate to a different area, I would recommend going under here, because the actual runway is obviously going to be in a war zone. But using that underbelly there, you can actually rotate pretty easily. You don't find a lot of people down there usually, so definitely try that. So as we looked at the side with the security checkout, that side of the map, that side of the runway, on the opposite side are 3 series of catwalks and planks with extreme level of verticality, with zip lines connected to them, and also elevators at the base. You see one right there. You can ride it up higher, and I believe there's 2 stairwells. There's one kind of lower stairwell here, which I'm beneath, and then on the far side there is a stairwell that goes much higher to the higher part of this. And this brings me to one of the big you know, verticality is part of DEADROP as a whole. The main mode is literally called Vertical Extraction Shooter, so if that tells you anything. But this map, again, the middle is so open. Trying to go through that middle part of the runway is very risky, because both sides have just extreme amounts of height advantage. Whether you're up there in those windows on the check-in, the terminal side, raining fire down, or if you're in one of these bases, you can really just get up high on one of those catwalks and just kind of sit there and shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot. And you know, we'll see, because the only modes we can play on this right now are modes like TDM and Infection and you know, gun game, where you're gonna take more risks anyway, right? Your life isn't really important to protect. But when it's played in Vertical Extraction Shooter and your life means more and you're trying to get out with the loot and so on, we'll see how people's play styles actually, you know, change and adjust, how people determine what risks they take or don't take. It's just right now, again, that middle area, if you're trying to play anywhere out there, you really need to get to cover quick. I would recommend going through that underbelly if you can, if you need to get to the other side or want to get to the other side, or get in the plane as quickly as you can and get cover, because you can just be railed from virtually everywhere from above. This is a very quick one. Again, we've shown you a few extractions. Here's the other life link that I didn't show you yet on the other side of the plane. There are extraction areas in this version of the map, at least, below, not quite in the underbelly, but in these little side rooms here that are on the runway. You can drop right down in them. There's a couple of them, I believe, and there is one right there. Just that simple, just pointing that out for you. When extractions are enabled, that's one. All right, this reminds me a lot of the like endless staircase sequence in the original Metal Gear Solid, but on the one side of the map, what I call, you know, it's called terminal. This is called scaffolding technically. There is an insane amount of staircases that go up. It seems like you can run up on these things seemingly forever, but there's an elevator right next to me. You should have just seen it. Just pointing out that that elevator is there if you don't want to risk running all the way up here. There's also some pipes that you can grab on towards the back wall. You just saw me pass one there on the right. Here's a quick look at the other side, the far end of the runway. There's some trucks up here for cover, some boxes, some loot. People like to hang out up here in Infection, which is exactly where this clip is from, actually, and just kind of try to get, you know, make the infected, the sin-fected, run as far as they can through the open before they get to them. If you watch here, I saved somebody's life, actually, at the last possible second. But if you look over the edge, right now, there's nothing there. It's just the end. That's where the runway ends. So just wanted to show you that. On the complete opposite end of the map from that runway I just showed you, there are a pair, right now at least, of extractions. There's one on the left here, and then you go over this little ramp, you walk across the other far side, and there's just a mirroring extraction over there. Don't know if that's final or not, again, but I'm just pointing them out here in case this version of the map is unchanged. When it is implemented into VES for the first time, there's two extractions for you. And this little part of the map, high above on the one side where, again, not the terminal side, it says cargo lift technically, there is a horizontal elevator platform that I did not realize was here. Like the first dozen times I played this map, it works just like an elevator. You have to hit a button to send it over to your side, then you can get on and then hit the button again, and it will connect you to the next platform or base over. So if you want to rotate, you can duck down, and you know, maybe a lot of people have seen you there and you want to rotate across. That's how you do it. It's in cargo lift, and you can actually use a horizontal elevator like this. First time I've seen this in DEADROP, which is cool. Every snapshot, more little new environmental things and design being implemented. That's pretty much it for this video, guys. If you have questions about Proving Ground 3, what I think will become Sector 4 in the future, leave them down in the description, or of course leave your thoughts on the map's design. We know the developers are always looking for feedback. Jump in the Midnight Society Discord and of course leave your feedback. They're always reading, guys. They're always looking for everybody's thoughts and opinions, so put them out there, right? I definitely like the whole runway design. It gives it a unique vibe, and I can't wait to see this map arted along with Proving Ground 2, which I think is Sector 2, maybe is Sector 2. The terminology seems to be moving towards Sector 2. But anyway, hypothetically, this actually will be in the first iteration of sector-to-sector gameplay. That's according to 402 Rob Bowling, head of Midnight Society, who said that this map will probably not be in VES, quote-unquote, soon, but these first three sectors and Proving Grounds, that being Sector 3 Cold Storage, Proving Ground 2, which is likely Sector 2, and then now this, Proving Ground 3, which is likely Sector 4, they will soon, well, maybe be linked for that sector-to-sector gameplay, which is the goal of the game is to actually enable players to travel from sector to sector within the same match. And they've been clear that that is their intent the whole time, but they're just now moving towards that and trying to accomplish it. So who knows if it will work, if it will feel good, if it will not work. You know, this is an open development process, and that's the point of what Midnight Society is doing. It's letting players test this stuff openly, talk about it openly, talk about what they like, what they don't like. But that may be the first time that we see this Proving Ground 3 in vertical extraction shooter mode. I wouldn't expect it any time earlier than Snapshot 8, if that, right? Because they're not just going to all of a sudden load this in, or maybe not. Who knows? Maybe if players clamor for it, maybe they will just say heck with it, throw it in there. We'll see what happens. Depends on when Snapshot 8 is coming, I guess. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, hit like, check out all the other content on the channel. This is your dedicated DEADROP and Midnight Society channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Mayor Reynolds out. This video is sponsored by Fortnite. Support a creator code MAYOR. That's all you got to do is plug MAYOR into your Fortnite or Epic Game Store. Support a creator slot. Whenever you make a purchase, and a portion of that purchase will go towards supporting my content. It costs you nothing. Just plug it in anytime you see support a creator in Fortnite or the Epic Game Store, and it will directly support my channel and help increase the budget for content like our live action DEADROP short film, Midnight, which you can go watch right now. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate the support. MAYOR in your supporter creator slot. Thanks a lot.